Hi guys, it's Yolanda.
Yannicka.
And Janelle.
We are, it's day 3 in Uluru for us, and we're having a fantastic time and really enjoying connecting and conversations. And this morning, the girls were just casually in their own. We were dressing up to go out. We visited Uluru and the Kata Tuta rocks, and they were just fabulous. It was just beautiful. Connecting and really resonating with the energy of the place was just phenomenal. In our chats, we were our topic just landed into talking about self-worth, and the girls were sharing how in their younger years they felt like they were not good enough, and they shared the feelings and the different stories of how that played out in their lives when they held that belief of not being good enough, and how it transitioned into and how they feel now. The external circumstances didn't change at all. Hi Joe, how are you? The external situations didn't change at all. However, their belief in them changed, and how as that happened, their external, hey Lavon, as that changed, their external circumstances started to shift. So I'll get Yannicka to talk about that.
Right, so this morning we were just discussing how we were talking about how we felt, I guess, the significance of our physical appearance. I guess that was a pretty big thing. So when I was little, I used to think I was pretty ugly. And I just found a lot of things to fault in myself, like say my hair, or even just like, anything.
Even your name, you were
even
saying.
My name, like I was like, oh, don't like my name, it's so odd. Like anything was everything was just about physical appearance. And I guess when you're younger, I guess all your main intention is just to fit in. You don't want to really stand out. You just want that sort of social acceptance when you're younger. And so I guess you find little things like that to fault in yourself.
And I particularly remember this one incident when Yannicka came to Melbourne, and she was in year 6, and getting acceptance from the girls at school was she was going through challenges which I didn't really know about until her teacher at a school meeting said to me, Yolanda, I'm really sorry about what Yannicka's going through. And I thought, really, what is she going through? Because I don't know, and she usually would share things with me, and I didn't know what she was going through. And what came about from that was that she was being called names at school by groups of girls, and I didn't know about it. So when I went back home and I said, Yannicka, I didn't know you were having a hard time. She said, Mom, there are this group of girls and they call me names. And what were they calling you, yeah?
Oh, really weird names. They called me a brown toilet at one point.
Thank you.
It wasn't fun.
However, when I said to her, how are you feeling about all that? Because remember, she's in year 6, coming to a new school. Groups and girls, especially social groups, have already been formed. So that was a bit challenging for her to, you think so? And then when I asked her, Yannicka, how was that? Are you okay? And she said, yeah, Mom, I'm okay. That isn't me, so why should it affect me? And that was a big eye-opening, that was really eye-opening for me to see how getting our kids to believe in themselves is really key. And when they do, then the external circumstances and bullies don't really have that much of an effect on them when they have a belief in themselves. So I'd love for you guys to share what do you think about that theory, because bullying is such a big thing these days. And my take on it is that bullies can only be successful in what they are on about if our kids don't have a belief in themselves, or don't know who they are, or have recognized their own self-worth.
Yeah, I guess the key of this whole thing is that it comes down to your own self-worth and how the perception you have of yourself. I guess so. I mean, after that, I obviously I used that as a growing point for myself. So I basically used it to learn more about myself, see how I react to situations like that, and kind of use it to improve myself and make myself, I guess, a stronger person.
Yeah. So how does that go for you now? You were saying this morning.
Yeah, and so I feel like I've kind of taken all that in, and I've kind of lowered the importance of social acceptance
Yeah. So you
in my
believe
list
now.
of values.
You do believe in yourself that you are. Yeah.
Yes, I love my name now. I think it's great. And yeah, I
You
think
feel comfortable
I
in
feel
your.
comfortable in my own skin. Like I feel really happy with, and I feel really happy with who I am as a person.
And how does that
Yeah.
affect the external environment around you? So you find people more accepting of you now.
Exactly, 100%. It's changed everything. Once you change how you see yourself, the world changes the way it sees you.
That's perfect.
yeah.
Ooh, we can quote that, yeah?
I think
Let's
I did
have
the quote
that.
already.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Janelle?
Yeah, so self-worth is like a big thing that I face now as well. And I think I'm still on the journey of like fully accepting myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Yeah, but you've come a long way,
Yeah.
haven't you? Yeah, yeah. So, did you struggle with how you looked and people
Oh,
accepting
yeah.
you and things like that?
Yeah, especially with the colour of my skin. As when we moved to Australia, I felt like, everyone in my class, and I was in grade 2, everyone in my class was not the same colour as me. So I felt really like different from everyone else. But as I started to accept that like, it's okay, I can't really do anything about it, so I should just accept it, right? And then, yeah, everyone treated me the same, so it was good.
And how you feel now? How do you feel with your social groups and friends now?
Yeah, good. All my friends are like such lovely people, and yeah.
What about bullies? Do you see bullies around?
Not so much in my school, but there have been incidences with bullies before. Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that bullies can only affect you if your self-worth is low?
Yeah. I think it's like a big thing because they only point out what you already feel insecure about.
Wow.
That
Oh, another
already-
quote.
So
That is
true.
profound, Janelle.
That is so good.
Well done
That
there.
is so good.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
if you're already insecure about it, they'll like hit you where it hurts, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they are actually portraying different aspects already, but the ones that we feel or that affect us are what's
Yeah.
already triggered within us. So if we feel triggered about the color of our skin, and somebody mentions that, we will feel hurt more about that than other things. So
Yeah.
we can only be so. I think the key really is about us. Using when our external environment affects us, using that as a point of as a guidepost as to where we need to work and where we need to shift so that we can raise our own self-worth. So if we feel triggered by something, that's because it's within us, and go, thank you, really, thank you for showing that to me, so I can now go away and work on it.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good key. Like that's a good indicator of how you're feeling, about how to kind of overcome, like a good growth exercise. I
Yeah,
guess. So when you do
absolutely.
see something come up and you do feel that sort of discomfort within yourself, you notice that and you're like, oh, all right. So this is coming to my awareness. I need to work on that.
Yeah.
Like so, I guess yeah.
It
so when-
usually doesn't have much to do with the other person,
no, it's all
as much
just
as
you.
it is
It's
to
always
do with
just you. isn't it?
And often I feel if you really think about bullies, if you really go into their story, there's so much to feel sorry about them, sorry for them about. There's a lot of compassion. Like the last time we had that incident, Janelle, at primary school.
Yeah.
That child was going through a hard time at home. As we got into the story, we found that child was really struggling, was
Yeah.
really struggling at home. So if we go deep into the story of that bully, there will be a lot to feel compassion for, instead of being upset about. And often I feel the way the school system today handles bullies actually gives them significance, which really deters from what we're trying to achieve from this situation, and stopping it actually gives them the significance they are looking for.
Yeah.
Which
So
they
what
are
do you think a good
insignificant.
solution for bullies is then, Mom?
So thanks for putting me on the spot, Yannicka.
Anytime, Mom. Anytime.
So I would think is really the child that's affected to work on self-worth, and that's what I do with the work that I do with kids. Hey Callie, hi Anita. So that's the work I do with kids, working on their self-worth and taking on them on that journey. It's not just one fix. There's different ways that we look at it. I look at current situations that have happened, and I work with that situation and shifting the stories within each situation. And as for the bullies, it's about first approaching them from compassion and recognizing their need for significance, but not giving it to them in a way
that encourages that behavior.
It encourages, exactly, but more about reaching it out in a more personal way and recognizing their core needs and speaking to those core needs. So on that note, I grew up most of my life feeling I was actually ugly duckling. Is a word that came to me. My siblings are fairer than me, and I always thought I was the most ugliest thing on the planet.
And then the other day we saw photos of Mum when she was younger, and she was literally the most beautiful person in every single photo.
And I didn't believe it when I looked at those photos. I go, oh my god, I wasn't that bad looking, but I just hated myself when I was younger.
So it's just your perception of the time.
So
really,
self-worth is a big one, guys, and recognizing that from a younger age, and as we speak to our kids, knowing that core language that we speak to them, and coming from a space of raising their self-worth, becoming aware of that with every statement we use to our kids. I know that sounds like a lot of pressure, but with every conversation we have, getting clued into what's that underlying message we are sending to them. Are we saying to them that they are good enough? And check in with yourself. Most of the time we are saying to them that they are not good enough. So a bit of becoming curious and going on that journey, and as parents I say it's about us recognizing how good enough we are, and that's how we can impart that to our kids.
So do you have a question for everyone today, Mum?
Yes, question, Janelle. Janica, you can come up with that question.
Oh, thanks for putting you on the spot, Mum.
Yeah.
I guess, what are your thoughts on bullying, and what do you guys think a good solution is? I guess after hearing our thoughts, you know?
Yeah. That's a big topic, isn't it? And
Yeah,
how do
it's
you
quite
think?
a big one.
What do you think about the views that we have on bullying and self-worth, and the fact that kids recognizing their own self-worth is something that something that we teach them at home by the language we use as parents to our kids, and we can only give what we have. So raising as parents, recognizing where we are on our own self-worth journey is what empowered parenting and raising empowered kids is about. So love you and leave you guys. Bye.